They say crime doesn't pay, but I watched my coworker walk away with a $50,000 bonus and a $150,000 a year promotion just for stealing my life's work. I grew up in a rough neighborhood, studied by candlelight to save on electricity, and literally went hungry to pay for my first $200 coding course. But Mark? He never had to struggle for anything. And while he was toasting with champagne over my $1 million project, he had no idea I'd left a hidden signature in the code, a signature that was about to cost him every single cent he ever stole. My journey didn't start in some fancy air-conditioned office. It started in a tiny two-room house where my computer was a $50 piece of junk I built part by part from scraps. I worked 12-hour shifts as a stockroom clerk and spent my nights studying programming until the sun came up. When I finally landed this junior dev role, I was the first one in and the last one out. My ethics were non-negotiable. I wanted to win using my brain, not shortcuts. Then I met Mark. He was hired as a senior, but it didn't take long for me to realize he was a total fraud. He used his position to humiliate the interns and take credit for small wins. The first time he scammed me was small, a spreadsheet that took me 5 hours to organize. He presented it at the Monday meeting as if he'd spent the whole weekend on it. He got a good job from the boss, while I got a condescending smirk. Then he started poaching my ideas during lunch. I'd suggest a $5,000 process improvement, and 10 minutes later, he'd blast an email to the whole department claiming he just had a visionary insight. He was a social parasite, feeding off everyone else's grind. Mark is the kind of guy who destroys careers. If you feel like your hard work isn't being valued, or if you want to protect your digital assets from leeches like him, click the cybersecurity link in the first comment. Don't let your sweat enrich people like this. Now, back to how he tried to ruin me. The CEO announced a challenge. Anyone who could build an automation system to slash overhead costs would get a massive payday. I spent 6 months on it, total sleepless nights. The project was worth $1 million in annual savings for the company. On the eve of the big presentation, Mark asked me to review the technical specs with him. Being a team player, I showed him everything. When I showed up the next morning, he had already finished the presentation at 8 a.m. He told the CEO I was just his typist and that the entire logic was his. He got a standing ovation. I was labeled an assistant and given a pathetic $2 hourly raise, while he laughed in my face with his new $50,000 bonus. The feeling of injustice burned deep, but I didn't scream. I smiled. What Mark didn't know was that because I came from nothing, I learned to be precautious. In the heart of the code, I planted a logic bomb. It was a verification system that required an encrypted key from my personal server every 48 hours. If Mark tried to alter the code to wipe my name from the metadata, the entire system would go into total meltdown. Do you think he deserved what's coming? Let me know in the comments if you've ever had a boss steal your thunder. 3 days later, the system locked up. The company started losing $10,000 an hour in productivity. Mark panicked. He tried to fix it, but the more he messed with it, the more the system deleted his files. The CEO was furious. I was called into the boardroom. Mark was in a cold sweat, trying to blame me. I opened my laptop, mirrored the screen, and showed the original source code with my digital signature from months ago. I showed the emails he ignored. The CEO looked at Mark and asked, "Where is the access key?" Mark just stuttered. He had no clue. I said calmly, "The key is with me, and the price to save this system is now a $300,000 consulting contract, paid up front." Mark was escorted out of the building by security, losing his promotion, his bonus, and his career. I signed the contract, saved the company in 10 seconds, and today I live with the financial freedom my hard work earned. Justice was delayed, but it came back with interest. If you made it this far, you believe in justice. Secure your future with the tools in the description and never be a victim again. Subscribe for more revenge stories.